The entire YSL RICO case just changed dramatically. It has gotten so bad that rappers that are friends with Young Thug are now being investigated in the YSL RICO case, as an investigator just called out Lil Wayne's affiliation to the same street team as Young Thug.
And are you familiar with who this individual is?
I am.
And who is that?
It's Dwayne Carter.
Okay. And does he have another name that he goes by?
He does.
And what is that?
Lil Wayne.
And are you aware, through any of your non-trained experience, if Mr. Carter, Dwayne Carter, self-identifies as a member of?
I believe that he does.
Okay. Tell the jury if you need to stand with the stick and point to what those identifiers are within Defense Exhibit 31.
There's a large MOB across his chest, often used particularly by West Coast, but is used across the country. He has 5 red 5-point stars across his chest.
It seems like the prosecutor is bringing out their best evidence right now against Young Thug. It is causing him to be angry inside of the courtroom because for the last 2 weeks, Thug's lawyer tore apart the prosecutor's evidence that is going against Young Thug. The state's best investigator against Young Thug has been following him in YSL for over 10 years, as Young Thug's lawyer had a hunch that this guy wasn't even investigating anything the entire time, so he would expose him for his lack of research in front of 50,000 live viewers.
Okay.
Now, I'm assuming, I don't want to assume, you went through that entire Tumblr account to educate yourself for your testimony for the jurors, am I correct?
No, sir. This is the only post from this Tumblr account that I've reviewed.
You didn't look at all of Mr. Williams' Tumblr account?
No, sir.
How did you know to review this one picture?
Well, when the state asked me to review these particular tweets, this is one that was linked within one of the tweets I was asked to review, and I was asked to review this post from that link.
You weren't curious to know what else is on that Tumblr account?
I was not, no.
Well, since you come back, I'm inviting you to look at it if you want to, but every one of those posts has to do with music. Do you realize that?
Objection, hearsay.
It's not hearsay.
What made Young Thug look the best was that Thug's lawyer would then stand on business and challenge that investigator to go home, do more research, and then come back with an answer.
Do you know, as you sit here, what all the other Tumblr posts deal with?
Objection.
Basis.
It would be speculation because he said he has not reviewed.
I sustain the objection.
You do me a favor. If you come back, which I'll call you if you need, I want you to review all that Tumblr, okay?
Sure.
Account. And then you tell the jurors everything else that's on that Tumblr account, okay?
Sure.
And tell them if it has anything other than music-oriented promotion, okay?
Well, I would say even this photo has more than just music promotion.
That's great.
As if you understand court cases, what Thug's lawyer just did right there is absolutely insane. And it really makes the police department look like a complete joke. Having their main investigator at 10 years not even doing his job of investigating and being told by a lawyer to go home and do even more research. Then, after a report of, and I quote, expect YSL rapper Young Thug's lawyer to push for a mistrial, his lawyer has had an edge on the prosecution and it could lead to a strong case for the mistrial. The state knew that the prosecutors, they had to make a quick move. This is what led to Young Thug screaming inside a court as today they would drop the hardest evidence they currently have against Young Thug. It all begins in a report that reads, Young Thug was named as an alleged firearm man in the 2013 incident during a 911 call that was played during the YSL RICO trial today.
Okay, so who is? I have no idea, babe. I promise I can't tell y'all that. I don't know. All that I know, she came to my house and told me that the guy that shot my name Young Thug, what it's supposed to be. Somebody named the guy is in her house. So I don't know how y'all can do that. I'm trying to go out the house, but you want the phone now. Okay, all right.
As in the 911 call, it has witnesses that allegedly seen Young Thug using a firearm in the specific location. Now, online lawyers are revealing that the feds, they had no choice but to release this evidence early. This evidence wasn't even supposed to be released for another few weeks, but the jury was likely taking Thug's side with a non-guilty verdict, all due to what Young Thug's lawyer has been doing lately. But just like Boosie said about YNW Melly, when the feds want you, they'll do anything to get you. So they released the evidence early.
Now they're putting even more charges on him, and then
when they want you, they want you. I knew they wanted them bad when they waited for that law to get passed. They waited all the way.
Penalty.
So it'd be 8-4.
Oh, right. Yeah.
You know, they waited all the way till that law got passed to take him to trial.
Yeah, he was in jail for what, 2 years, 3 years?
Yeah. They could have been took you to trial.
You're right.
They waited till that law got passed and took him to trial a couple months later. When they want you, man. Just don't see how he didn't get a bond after a fucking mistrial.
Yeah.
That made me like, God damn.
Yeah.
Like, after a mistrial, that doesn't happen, really.
It really seemed as if Young Thug's lawyer had the entire case handled. He was so good that he even somehow defended the YSL snitch Trontavious Stevens and made it look good for Young Thug, which is practically impossible inside of a court setting, as he mentioned that Trontavious gave the definition of the word slime.
Word slime, what does it mean?
Good question. That's a good question. So, the S is for slug, the L is for love, the I is for I, the M is for me, and the E for everything.
That is the only thing that slime meant to you when you had that tattoo put in your body.
Yes, ma'am, that's what it means to me. That's what that tattoo means to me.
Is slime ever used in any other kind of way? As by you or any of the people that
like breaking it down,
yeah.
Like breaking it down how I did.
No, like the meaning of the word slime.
No, it's slime.
As originally, the investigator at 10 years mentioned that what Trontavious said was a lie, and that is not what the word slime means to YSL members. But Brian Steele was ready for this, so he had lyrics in a song from Young Thug that was released 6 years ago, where in the lyrics, it says the exact same thing that Trontavious said. So Brian Steele exposed him in front of everyone, asking if he even did a simple Google search on what the word slime means.
Did you hear that, Detective?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Now, when you gave your testimony yesterday about you've never heard anyone describe slime in the way you just heard on Mr. Williams' number 142, did you ever do a Google search?
No, I did not.
Did you know that question was coming?
No, sir.
You had no idea that the state was going to ask you that question?
No, I thought you meant your question.
No. Yesterday on direct exam, you knew that question was coming, right?
I did. I knew the state was going to ask me what slime meant, yes.
And did you do anything in preparation to say, I want to make sure my testimony is accurate?
I did.
But you never bothered to Google music?
But things would get even crazier from here, as it all begins with rappers reacting to Young Thug's court case, as their reactions would end up having their names being brought up inside of the courtroom, as law officials are now investigating all of these artists. It would be reported the state's team expert in the Young Thug trial interrupted Thug's lawyer to tell the jury that the album for his collab tape with Future, titled Super Slimy, was meant to taunt rival street teams. But in reality, the album cover just shows the symbols of the labels YSL and FBG.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Mr. Steele. To the extent that you're asking for context of these, I do have additional context that may be helpful as far as these particular tweets.
Okay.
So the tweet on the left-hand side, so we pull that back up. So this particular image was of note to myself and other investigators, particularly during this time period. Their rival ABG has a hawk logo that they use on their own clothing and identifiers. As you can see on the cover of this, there's a hawk skull with a snake, the symbol for YSL, climbing through the eyes of this skull of a hawk.
But here's where the serious part comes in. Reporters close to the case started telling rappers to stop reacting to Young Thug. That way they do not get investigated. But this actually made a lot of rappers upset. So several of them gave Thug's lawyer Brian Steele a call, telling them that it's cool if they bring up their rap name inside a court as well as their music titles to help Young Thug get released from jail. The idea of it is to show the jury that you don't need to be a part of the Red Street team to avoid using the letter C in your music titles.
Post Malone, do you know who Post Malone is?
I know who he is.
Have you heard him do that?
I have not.
Okay. Meek Mill, you know who that artist is?
I do.
Have you know that?
No, sir.
Are you familiar with the song Jumped Out the Face by Meek Mill?
I'm not.
And Post Malone, you are familiar with the song?
No.
Are you familiar with Juice WRLD?
I know who he is.
Are you familiar with, instead of cooling, booling, B-O-O-L-I-N? Are you familiar with that song?
I'm not.
Okay. Trippie Redd, you know who that is?
I know of him.
And do you know the song Bust Down, again, booling rather than cooling? YWN Melly, you know that rapper?
I do.
The song Till the End?
I don't.
Future, you know who that is?
I do.
Absolutely Going Brazy, you know that?
As many believe that you need to be a part of the Red Street team to avoid using the letter C in your music titles and lyrics. But in reality, any artist can go do that. It's more of a style of music and it hooks a viewer's attention to the song. So while they were also on the topic of other rappers, we would see one particular rapper get involved in the court case, and it would be none other than YNW Melly. These two rappers were involved in a Facebook post together, and things get a little weird.
Same thing, the use of the slap term, 5-point star, the snake. He's saying he's YSL, he's hanging with Young Thug, and he puts up his YNW for life hashtag on it with the 5-point star as well. Mr. Demons has the big B hand signs displayed.
Right, and see with individuals again, I'm assuming that's also Young Thug. That's also unknown.
Yes.
Also important to your investigation, correct?
Yes.
Also publicly available for anyone to see and capture.
As now police departments are all working together on investigating what truly goes on in the rap world. Prosecutors believe that YNW Melly's team YNW now may have street ties connected to Young Thug's team YSL, because it's been a theory for a very long time that a lot of rappers, when they sign multi-million-dollar deals, they end up just funneling all of this money into their street teams for narcotics, firearms, or even put money on somebody to get them gone. But we would see Bryson Paul go on and tweet, and I quote, "Detective Danny Polo on what slap means. Slap means sliming up all the time, and it came out of the YSL language. The Reds started copying it. YSL is made up of Reds, and in the picture, Melly is with Young Thug, who is currently on trial for RICO. The YSL team is throwing up the Red signs." As the investigator would then go on to show even more evidence of Young Thug throwing up the street signs for being a part of the Red Street team.
Did you see Mr. Williams putting up any identifying signs within that first few seconds of the video?
I did.
And what was he doing?
He was throwing the B's again, the 2 guns, and he also threw a 5-point star.
In that particular portion at 1:30, do you see Mr. Williams throwing up any?
I did.
And what did he throw up?
He threw up the 2 guns again.
Nobody.